Today, the main issues of our workshop are what is formative assessment and how can formative assessment be conducted at the lesson. I think these posters in Russian will be of great help. Yeah? Okay. First of all, let us have a look at what formative assessment is. Formative assessment is a number of various methods that teacher can implement in his lessons just to evaluate student comprehension, their learning needs, academic progress during a lesson, during a unit, during a course. Yeah? Formative assessment helps both teachers and students. Formative assessment helps teachers to identify learning needs and problems on the one hand. On the other hand, it helps them to decide what techniques, what strategies to imply into the lesson just to improve learning progress. Formative assessment helps students to develop a strong understanding of their strengths and weaknesses. When a student knows what he does well and what he needs to work harder on, so it can help him just to take greater responsibility over his learning and academic progress. Formative assessment is often contrasted with summative assessment. Summative assessment is used when teacher evaluates students' learning and academic progress at the end of a certain instructional period. It can be the end of the school year, the end of the term, and so on. Okay. So here is something more about formative assessment. So these strategies to conduct formative assessment are quite easy and they are quick to use, and you will see it throughout our workshop. Well, I ask my students to look at this quotation by Alexei Tolstoy, and the purpose of introducing this quotation is just to involve students in making their own conclusions why rich vocabulary and accurate grammar are important while learning a foreign language. Here you can also see one more quotation about the importance of learning vocabulary. So these quotations motivate students. They help students understand what they need to do just to speak fluently and accurately. Okay. So let us see what you are going just to learn to know by the end of the workshop. So you will conduct a formative assessment of the student's verbal utterance with the help of a checklist. Actually, lots of different checklists. And when you see and maybe choose what you would like to introduce into your own teaching environment. And to reach this goal, we are supposed to get these objectives done. To study the requirements for semi-guided speaking, to work with some tools and strategies of formative assessment, and to assess a semi-guided verbal utterance with the help of the checklist. Okay. As for the task we are going to work with today, it is taken from so-called OGR in English, task number 3. So this task, I think it is semi-guided, yeah, because students are guided by some points they are going to cover while speaking. Yeah, we can't say that it is free speaking, but still it is close to being free speaking, right? Okay. So you can have a look at this task, because at the end of the workshop we are going to listen to the girl covering these points and assess her with the help of a checklist. Well, during this workshop, I'm going just to share my own teaching experience and to share my own views on formative assessment. If these views contradict yours, that is quite natural, yeah, because each teacher has his own views on different teaching methods and so on. Okay, and as for my teaching environment, I work with grades 9 and 10, and we use books by Afanasieva and Lazy B2 by Macmillan. Also, when getting prepared for the final state exam, I exploit task bank from FIPI site. You know, it is an official site where you can find the requirements and lots of different tasks to prepare your students for the exam. And these are requirements for the language, yeah, the students use when talking, taken from FIPI site. So you just can look at them, refresh them if you work with these requirements. But I decided to adapt, to adjust these requirements to my teaching environment. You know, our school suggests advanced learning of English. That's why I demand advanced level of vocabulary of my students. That's why here you can see requirements or rubrics, sometimes they are called, relating to vocabulary, only vocabulary. If you take FIPI requirements, you will see organization, structure, yeah? Then grammar and vocabulary taken together. But I decided to study them separately because you see vocabulary needs certain techniques and grammar needs the other techniques. And today we are going to work only with vocabulary formative assessment. No grammar, no structure, only vocabulary. Okay, so have a look at the requirements. They are graded. Though formative assessment does not suggest grading and marking, still these requirements are graded because they are usually conducted at the end of studying a certain topic. Okay. Now, as for the strategies of formative assessment, you know, I usually, we usually, yeah, not only I, but also my colleagues, okay. When starting to study a topic, so our students are given different texts. Here you can see science and technology. So the topic is science and technology. Actually, students are given 3 topics: science and technology, general topic, yeah. Then computers and outstanding scientists of Russia and abroad, English in particular, yeah. Okay. In this text, you can see that some vocabulary is in bold. It means this is basic vocabulary. So this is basis for all verbal utterances our students are going to perform, yeah, not only in class, but also at the final state exam. So we work, we exploit different activities to study this vocabulary, and then when I'm going to assess how well they have acquired this vocabulary, I use different strategies of formative assessment. One of these strategies is ABC vocabulary. ABC vocabulary. Okay, so I think you can see, yeah, the point of this activity. So students should write down all vocabulary in ABC order. Yes, they have memorized, they know, without using the text. because all the vocabulary have been learned beforehand. Yeah. Okay. So they complete this form. Then compare this form with your peers. And you can see it is in blue and some of the words are in red. Here is another student's paper. Again, you can see blue and red. So they have written only in blue first. Yes, what they actually remember, yeah, from this big vocabulary list. Then they compare their answers and add some more vocabulary taken from the peers ones. And here you can see that this student is a weaker one, yeah, because he has added quite many vocabulary units from the peers one. Okay. Then we can also use closed procedure, yeah, closed procedure or gapped texts. Again, they are given different texts concerning this topic, science and technology, and their task is to complete the text with the verbs, but there is a clue for them here, so the first letter of the word is given. Again, they complete this gap, and here you can see that some of the words are in red, yeah, because this is correction the student has made after he has done his work, and then he compares it with the original text and see what mistakes, yeah, he has made, and then corrects them. Okay. Then there is also matching exercise. While learning vocabulary, we pay very big attention to synonyms. It is the 8th, the 9th grades are the years before the school leaving classes, yeah, before taking serious final state exams. So the more vocabulary they learn during the 8th and 9th grades, the more successful they will be in high school, grades 10 and 11, and when taking and passing, yeah, their exams. Okay, so that's why I pay much attention to the synonyms. You know that any essay needs lots of synonyms, and when talking, yeah, just to avoid repetition, they should know lots of synonyms. Okay, again, you see that the main words the student has written are in red, but when he again compared his work with the original paper, he added some more synonyms. Maybe he has not learned or he has forgotten about. So they always check themselves. Okay. Then one more strategy for formative assessment is the use of concept maps. Here is a good one because it involves many different things connected with this or that vocabulary unit. So here you write the keyword, then students have to give the definition of the word in their own words. So, but if they experience lots of difficulties in giving the definition, they can consult the dictionary, of course. Okay, then in this box they give synonyms. Again, I remind you of the seriousness, yeah? And then antonyms. Here they give examples of using this word, and just for fun, yes, they draw pictures or symbols they just can create for this concept, yeah, for this concept. So it is also a kind of formative assessment, because when students compare their concept maps with their peers ones, they just see how well they perform and what they need to do to improve their concept maps. Maybe to work more with the dictionary, yes, searching for synonyms and antonyms. Okay, mind maps are also a good idea because it just makes students to collect all the vocabulary they have learned and put it into their own ideas. For example, here is the mind map on technology at home. They are to write about different gadgets and devices and the advantages and disadvantages of using these gadgets. Again, they exploit as much vocabulary as possible and express their own views. Okay. And here you can see the list. You know, there are very many strategies of formative assessment, and you will find lots of them in the internet. Yeah, you know, internet is of great help. Yeah, when introducing these strategies into your classroom, you will be able to see what works well and what works not so well. Yes, and needs some changes. Yeah. So ABC, get, concept, list of 10. List of 10 is also a good idea because, you know, the student just is given some time just to list 10 words or phrases on this or that topic. You may even narrow the topic, not just take the general topic, science and technology, but for example, list 10 things, 10 words and phrases on technology and medicine. Yeah, so you narrow this thematic vocabulary. Discussions and turn talks. You know, discussions and turn and talk are also good strategies because the students are given some topic to discuss. Yeah, if it is a discussion, so it is a whole class discussion, and the teacher's role is to assess each student. The teacher has got a checklist. Yeah, I will show you a bit later. The teacher has got a checklist, and he just listens to the students, so he can just manage this process. If students keep silent, just ask someone else to proceed. Yes, this discussion. And during this discussion, teacher just makes some notes. How many words and phrases the students used while talking, and again this vocabulary on a certain topic. In my case it is science and technology. Okay, turn and talk strategy is a good thing because two students work together. One student has got a checklist like the teachers, yeah, and he listens to his peer and just makes notes. Yeah, how many vocabulary units were used, maybe some mistakes in using this or that word. Okay, then they exchange. And the key point in using these strategies is first you have this activity, and then you have the assessment part. Assessments can be of different, it's not assessment but feedback, yeah? Okay, they can be of different types. For example, it can be one sentence summaries, and students write about their performance, Or maybe if it is peer assessment, they can write about their peers' performance. So, for example, my vocabulary needs improvement as I do this or that. My vocabulary is rich in, you know, when we give feedbacks, it shouldn't be only something negative, yeah? Something positive must be as well, just to motivate students to work better and better further, yeah? Okay, or my vocabulary is low in this or that. It can be also the way as 3 things. Here, write 3 things about the vocabulary you used. For example, my language was rich or poor in, for example, synonyms, maybe idioms, who knows, yeah? Then I use or I don't use a variety of the basic vocabulary. So students always assess themselves and assess their peers. Have a look at the checklist to assess discussions and talks. You know, actually you can put any criterion you need, yeah? So here, for example, I assess students. Here are their names, yes, for example, Alexei, and I use any marks I just find useful to write about the variety of thematic vocabulary, if he or she avoids or does not avoid repetition, if he uses or not synonyms. Okay, and descriptive language, adjectives and adverbs. So when teaching vocabulary, we focus not only on synonyms, but also on adjectives and adverbs. The use of these words make your speech interesting, exciting, more attractive to the public. Yeah. Okay. So this is one of the checklists. Unfortunately, I have not made any copies for you, but in a week or so, you will find all this material on our site. It is www.persp.ru. So everything will be there. So just now, of course, you can make some notes. Here is the checklist to self-assess your talks. Okay. In my case, I'm crazy about using technology at the lesson. That's why there is a sign here prohibiting to use phones. In my class, students do use phones. Yeah, we always record our verbal utterances. Always record. Why? Because after the lesson is finished, they go home, they can listen to themselves. I often give them the task to listen and assess yourself. Yeah? Okay, then during the lesson, we also record ourselves and then share our recordings through different applications. Viber, WhatsApp, VK, and so on. Okay, that's why they have all the chances to self-assess their talks, yes, to listen to themselves and just complete this checklist. Yeah, great job, needs some improvement, or try again. Yeah, and again, I use a variety of phonetic vocabulary. I use synonyms to avoid repetition. Yeah, I use various adjectives and adverbs just to make my talk exciting. Yeah. Okay, so here is one more tool of assessment. Okay, and I have already told you about using phones at the lesson. Okay, if students don't have Viber, WhatsApp, or they have not got the internet connection on their access on their phones, so they can do it from home. So I'm not very strict that you are to send me your talk only during the lesson. No, they can do it after the lesson or from home. Because the main thing I'm going to do is to learn them, not just to punish for something they do bad, yeah, but to learn them and to make them feel successful. Okay. And now we are going to assess one of the students' talk, yes? And the talk is on that exam task. While you are studying this talk, I'm going to give you some checklist. I will distribute this and move on. Yeah? Okay. Well, just to make it a bit easier for you to assess this utterance, I would like you to have a look at the key vocabulary. Yeah, the vocabulary on topic taking pictures. Because the students were supposed to use this vocabulary, and this vocabulary is just for you to know what you are supposed to listen to. Yeah. Well, all my students also have so-called skill books. In Russian it is called методологическая тетрадка. But we decided to call it just skill book because here we collect different strategies to help our students to learn. Yeah? So you may have a look at it. It is mine, but students also have got the same, where they glue different important information organized in tables and different charts, whatever. So if they have any problems when, for example, assessing their peer or assessing themselves, you can take this skill book and find a certain checklist there, or find the requirements for the oral speech. So it is always at hand, yeah? They don't talk to me with their questions. How should I do this? How should I do that? No, just open your skill book and there you will find all the answers to your questions. Okay, and you are going to complete this checklist while listening to the girl. Yeah? Of course, it won't be so easy, even for you being teachers, yes, because you don't know the whole vocabulary, yes, they're supposed to learn. When I study topics with them, of course, I memorize them, and when I listen to them, I do know how many vocabulary units they use in their speech, yeah? Okay, but still we'll try, yes, we'll try. Okay, you're welcome.
One of the most important and hobbies in our life. Nowadays, a lot of people take photos. They do it, for example, to capture the best moments of their life in the internet, or it can be as their job. People also take photos of nature and different. Nowadays, taking photos is more popular today than it was in the past. By using modern technologies, people could take photos more simple than it used to be. Every person nowadays can take his phone and start to take photos. So the best photo in my life that I have ever taken is the photo of the fascinating Mother Nature. I took it about 2 years ago, and 2 years ago, a lot of people liked him and liked that photo, so they described it as a colorful and amazing picture of our country. So, in conclusion, I'd like to say that it's up to people whether to take photos in their life or not.
That's all. Okay, should I repeat it? No, that's enough. Okay. So just try to assess using this checklist. Students listen twice, yeah, because it's impossible, yeah, for them just to collect, to count, yes, to count all vocabulary units, pay attention to adjectives, adverbs, if the student avoided the repetition or not. Well, at the stage of practicing, you can practice it as many times as possible, because our main goal is to teach them, yeah? Just to make them learn how to assess themselves. That's why numerous repetitions are possible here. This is not the end of the school year where you are just to check how well they do. No, here is the time for practice. What form is this student in? Nine. Okay, and we started to do it last year in the eighth form. Okay, so this is one of the checklists, maybe the main one, because at the end we are going to give a kind of grade, how many points the student has got for his or her speech. But there are some more very important checklists. For example, this one, this vocabulary checklist for self-assessment. It is very important, yeah? Because here they write the type of error they made, for example, repetition, or they used wrong word, and then correction. So what can you say about this girl's performance? Присутствует изученная лексика по теме в объеме. Can anyone say how many words and phrases she used? Yeah, it's impossible because this is only once. Okay, используются разнообразные прилагательные наречия. То есть здесь мы можем поставить, обратить внимание на значки, которыми они заполняют полный плюс. Да? А что же по поводу присутствия изученной лексики по теме, ну неважно, хоть в объеме, вообще присутствует там, хотя бы присутствует. Окей, используются синонимы. Используются? Да, везде резало ухо, take a photo. Yes, take a photo, take a photo. Количество ошибок – это неадекватное использование лексики. Было такое? А как насчет слова colorful? Она пыталась этим словом описать. Да, вот это. Поэтому я говорю, дети имеют возможность слушать это столько раз, сколько они захотят, пока они будут уверены в том, что они оценили правильно. На стадии обучения это допустимо. А вот в конце, как правило, учитель оценивает, да, например, в конце темы, они у меня выходят вот на такой semi-guided speaking. И там уже я их оцениваю, там я уже как бы исключаю self-assessment и peer assessment, потому что это у них все было на стадии обучения. Okay. So, and as for this checklist, so here, for example, the error she made was take a photo, repetition. How can we correct? And here you can see, yeah, where is it? Capture view, yeah? What else? Shoot a photo. So they are again synonyms, yeah, to substitute taking a photo. Okay, colorful. She described what was colorful. Colorful, Mother Nature. It is quite possible, yes, to say, but at the beginning she told she used colorful in the wrong way. Any questions? Okay. Here is one more checklist for teachers and peers feedback. So, when they have completed all checklists, they can see how many pluses or minuses or semi-pluses they put for this performance. And here they just come to general feedback, kind of conclusion. Yes, excellent job. So they are to write what was good about the performance. Yeah? Remember, we focus not only on negative things, yeah, also on positive ones. So they write what was good in this performance and what is important needs improvement, because the home task they usually get is to improve their performance. So for this purpose, they should just see what other vocabulary they can use to improve their performance, because at home they do the same task, but after analyzing all these checklists. So this is the best way to manage the learning process in class. In class, you just focus on weaknesses maybe, and of course on strengths, just to motivate students. And their whole assignment is just to work on their weaknesses. Okay, that is practically all. And I would like you to ask me questions. You have, again, I remind you of our website, test.ru, because in a week or two you can get all the presentation and all this checklist, just to start working if you haven't started working on formative assessment yet. А кто-нибудь уже работает над формирующим оцениванием? Но вам все равно придется, да, потому что это одно из требований чего? Нашей любимой аббревиатуры, да?
Я беру требования экзамена ОГЭ и ЕГЭ. Сдаю детям при начале изучения темы и строго потом они отвечают по этим критериям.
Почему я делаю именно так? Почему я адаптировала как бы под свою ситуацию? Потому что, будучи и сама экспертом на ЕГЭ, да, я как бы знаю, что требуется и при написании эссе, и при устной части. Но мы должны оправдывать, вот мы в частности, да, в нашей гимназии, статус школы углубленного изучения. Поэтому, да, они могут, скажем так, средненько рассказать, и по критериям, да, все укладывается максимально там 3 или 2 балла, да, если возьмем конкретно этот критерий. Но я вижу свою задачу в том, чтобы они блестяще звучали, чтобы они блестяще выглядели. И здесь я уже даже не про экзамен думаю, они наберут там хорошие баллы из года в год, как бы это, слава богу, случается. А для их дальнейшей жизни, для их дальнейшего обучения в вузах и вообще. Поэтому вот такой, скажем, каждый критерий я беру вот по отдельности. Отдельно мы над структурой высказывания работаем, отдельно над грамматикой, по тем же самым принципам, с другими просто видами деятельности. Да, это формирующее оценивание, это то оценивание, которое идет в процессе научения. Да? Еще есть какие-нибудь вопросы?
Я сделала вывод, что это уже работа. Может быть, я не так вот конкретно прям расписываю.
Ну, как я уже сказала, у нас у каждого свой взгляд, да, на эту проблему. Просто, скажем так, чтобы шоры на наших глазах чуть-чуть все-таки приподнялись, мы как бы вот и посещаем мастер-классы, ходим по разным мероприятиям с тем, чтобы как-то все-таки improve.
У нас вообще образовательная школа сельской местности.
Ну, вы можете, в принципе, применять вот именно в подробном таком изложении формирующей оценки к отдельным ученикам. Есть же сильные ученики, которые страдают от того, что вот они находятся, да, недополучают. А почему бы с ним отдельно, да, пока вы со слабыми, он что-то себя и записал, и оценил. То есть здесь вот еще и для работы с продвинутыми, скажем так, детишками. Еще какие-то вопросы есть? Okay, thank you for your attention. Yes. Okay, come again.